News just coming in this minute. Chinese national Aisha Huang has been found guilty by an Accra High Court for committing various mining offences. Trial judge Lydia Mafo noticed that the evidence provided by the state in the form of videos, pictures and testimony of witnesses leaves her with no choice but to conclude that Aisha Huang undertook mining contrary to the law. Let's go straight to the court and speak to our legal correspondent, Joseph Akable. Joseph, thank you for joining us here. But this has been a long time coming case. Talk to us about the judge's reasons for finding Aisha guilty.
I mean, the judge makes the point that 11 witnesses were called by state prosecutors to testify against her. And they made available to the court videos, pictures. There were also testimonies about documents that they possessed showing that they had license from the Minerals Commission to undertake mining. And they all testified to the effect that she came over to their lands and undertook mining, then destroyed their farms. The court said that that alone meant that she had some answers to provide. And because she did not provide those answers, even in the form of what authority she had to undertake those minings, the court said that it had no doubts in its mind in concluding that she had undertaken mining without evidence. The court made the point that she herself appeared to be making contradictory statements. So even issues about who she was married to, at least 3 names have been mentioned since her initial arrest and the subsequent arrest. The court says that in one breath, she mentions one Fabian as being the husband, another breath, she mentioned one Ernest, and subsequently a different individual as well. Again, as to whether she's a director of a company that provides mining support services or not, in the initial trial that was terminated by the state, she had said that she did not have any such association with the company. At one point, she said she was a second director of the company, and subsequently the current trial, she said she did not have any such association with the company. So the court said that her own words comes across as someone who is not truthful. And in summing all of that up, the judge concluded that she holds the view that the state has put the case against Aisha Huang.
I see. Now, this trial has been one of interest to many people in the country, if not all of us here in Ghana. Talk to us about how people are feeling about the judgment post the judge's decision.
In fact, for those who are in the courtroom as I speak to you now, they are looking forward to one question. How many years will she be serving in prison? Will she even go to prison at all? With the other question being, will a fine be imposed as well? The judge had great difficulty in explaining that even though the current legal regime has been amended, she was in 2 minds as to which of the legal regimes to apply. She leaned towards the fact that the old legal regime should be what she could apply. And so in terms of the reaction that have come for those who are here in the courtroom, it's still that of anxiety. Yes, there is a satisfaction among those inside that she has been convicted, but there appears to be the possibility that it may not be a serious sentence being imposed as many have anticipated. We know that under the amended law, you are looking at a minimum jail term between 15 and 25 years. We are looking at a fine, various amounts, can be 1 million cedis, upwards to 4.2 million cedis. But because the judge had already indicated in the judgment that the offenses for which she has been charged of at the time it took place, the legal regime that was in place, she aims towards applying that legal regime. It will mean that there will be the option of a minimum, a smaller fine being imposed, and perhaps a jail term, which now is an option for the judge to exercise either of which. And so that is what is by way of the reaction over here at the court premises.
I see, Joseph. We also know that a few other people were prosecuted alongside Aisha. What are we hearing about those people?
Those individuals are still before the courts. The interesting thing that the Attorney General did when he decided to restart this particular case was that instead of charging all 5 of them at the same time, they filed specific charges against just Aisha Huang. So that is how come her case has moved faster and has reached this particular level. In terms of the other 4 individuals, they are standing trial in a different court, still at the High Court, but differently constituted. And so that trial is still ongoing. The state has already called a number of witnesses already. And so that is a matter that the AG intends to follow through with as well. So what we can tell our viewers today is that that particular matter, in respect of the other accomplices, have not come to a conclusion. But we know that the court a short while ago did convict her. And one of the offenses that they convicted her of was facilitating foreign nationals to engage in mining without a license. And so that is another charge that she has been convicted of.
I see. Joseph, how about you hold the rest of the report for us? Let's have a quick conversation with private legal practitioner, Justice Abdullahi. Justice, good afternoon to you. We're just hearing about Aisha Huang's judgment. She's been found guilty. She's looking at up to 25 years in court. What does this mean for the fight against Galamsey, Justice?
Indeed, I think this is a rather refreshing news that the state is willing to walk the talk, and it will be the biggest deterrent for both foreign nationals and indeed locals who are bent on destroying our environment to the detriment of all of us without taking our collective good into consideration, but their selfish interest. I think this should serve as a good warning to them, and I would expect that the state would do more to actually effectuate this kind of intention, considering the fact that we all know the state hasn't done much in the fight against Galamsey. And indeed, but for the media, you and your colleagues wouldn't probably have seen even this day and even celebrate it as we are doing today. And so we would urge that this becomes that kind of motivation for all of us, and indeed also serve as a deterrent for those who are continuously perpetrating the destruction of our environment.
I see. In a case of this nature, how long before we hear sentencing?
Usually it will be immediate. Usually it should be immediate, but I'm sure the judge may have a very good reason why he's deferring the sentence to a later time, but it should have followed almost immediately, particularly because of the national interest in this matter. I was expecting that the judge would have come with his sentence along the judgment that was delivered.
Justice, thank you so much for your insights on the subject matter. News just coming in. Aisha Huang has been found guilty of mining offenses in the country. There'll be more on the story in subsequent broadcasts, but a court correspondent is telling us that she could be facing up to 25 years imprisonment. We'll follow through on subsequent broadcasts and let you know what exactly the judge says about sentencing. But news coming in, Aisha Huang has been found guilty.
Well, on another developing story this afternoon, government is justifying the large contingent of delegates from Ghana to the World Climate Action Summit COP28 currently ongoing in Dubai. This year, 618 delegates were sponsored on taxpayer money to the climate event. That's almost a 100% increase from the attendees to COP27 last year in Egypt. This development has drawn a lot of flack for the government in both traditional and social media. However, government has mounted a strong defense, insisting it has not engaged in any wasteful expenditure as far as the summit is concerned. Minister for Environment, Science and Innovation, Kwekwe Friye, earlier engaged my colleague Napo Ali Fusheni. Let's connect live to Dubai now, where Napo is joining us with a bit more details. Napo, first off, how are government officials reacting to the conversation? You've been interacting with the Environment, Science and Technology Minister. We'll connect with Napo Ali Fusaini shortly for a quick reaction to this. It's a conversation that's been brewing on social media, with many of you particularly having seen a list of a number of individuals. But let's try one more time and connect with Napo. Napo, I was asking the reaction of the government delegation to the concerns by Ghanaians that the number is rather on the high side this time round.
Yes, Mawina, well, generally it has been that of a surprise. I spoke with the Minister in charge of Environment, Dr. Kwekwe Friye, and then also the Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission, Honorable Dr. Henry Pokufu. And their position is that, yes, it is true the country came with a delegation of about 618, and the figure represents not just government officials. It also includes people from civil society. It also includes private individual people who were coming here as participants. Some are coming to strike business deals. Some are here. And so this is the difference. If you come here on the ticket of the government, and then as someone who is speaking on behalf of government, your designation will be a party. And so on your ID card, you have what they call party to the COP. And then you have party overflow. Now, party overflow, it includes others, even some of us, the media men who are here. We are not designated as party because we will not partake in the discussion. We cannot make any decision on behalf of government. And so it is not just the case that because you've seen or you've heard about 618 people leaving Ghana for this event. It doesn't mean everybody came here on the ticket or on the account of government. So you know very well that we from Media General, we are here not because government sponsored us, some sponsors to be here. We are here on our own accord, and we are here to do our work. So it is much of a surprise from both officials. And actually, the Minister of Environment, he is the head of delegation. He actually signs off the approval for people to attend because you can only be here in the name of your state. That explains the reason for the large numbers. But he actually says that compared to what the other countries are bringing, if you look at Nigeria, for instance, they have over 1,000 delegates from Nigeria. I think about 1,017 thereabout. And Ghana has just 618. And they say that this is much to do about nothing. And that the most important thing is that there are so many opportunities. And with what I have seen, there are so many sessions, there are businesses that are brokering deals alongside this conference. And that's what it is.
Right. So did he give the official government numbers that are representing the country? And maybe you just add what to expect for today from the Ghanaian delegation.
Dr. Kukufu, who is in charge of actually preparing the list, he gives the details as such. 97, he says 97 people are officials from the state. They flew here on the ticket of the government. Government actually paid the cost of their being here, their feeding, accommodation, and then flight. Now, it also includes members of parliament, the Committee on Environment, the Committee on Natural Resources. They are here. I've seen the chairman, I've seen Honorable Rashid Pepo, I've seen Honorable Alassane Suhini. Other members of parliament are here, actually representing parliament, and they all come on government tickets. Yes,
Right then, Napo. Many thanks for those updates. That's Napo Ali Fuseni from Dubai, providing details from the ongoing COP28 and the conversations here in Ghana.
From Dubai to Parliament, where the Speaker has called out the Education Minister for defying parliamentary orders to appear before the House in connection to the reopening date for the first batch of first-year senior high school students. The Speaker is now threatening to haul him before the Privileges Committee if he fails to turn up in Parliament by 12:30 today. That's just about 16 minutes from now. Let's head to Parliament now and speak to Komla Kluche, who is our correspondent on the ground. Komla, we'll come to you briefly, but before then, let's take a listen to Alban Bagbin, the Speaker of Parliament, when he made that pronouncement.
In the night, I saw the missed call of the minister, and I returned the calls. I went through, but I have not received any feedback from him. I later, the next day, read a release from the ministry saying the reopening will go on Monday and students should report as scheduled. The reason they gave in the release is that this has been scheduled long ago, and so it's already known to the parents and the students. You don't listen to ministers or what the president says. No. We are bound by the law. We go by the Constitution, go by the rule of law, and our practice and procedures. And so the minister should be here at 12:30 to brief the House. Failing, we have our procedure to follow. And if he wants notice, I can tell him the matter will be referred to the Privileges Committee. If he fails to appear before the House at the time given, 12:30, we'll refer the matter to Privileges Committee.
It's good to engage. Maybe our attitude, Mr. Speaker, next time should be that once you are presiding.
It's now about 13 minutes to that deadline. The clock is ticking. Let's head to Parliament now. Komla Kluche is our man there. Komla, it's about 13 minutes to the deadline the Speaker has given the Education Minister. What signals are you picking?
Well, I can tell you for certainty that the Minister got to Parliament at just about 10 minutes to midday. I saw him just when he was entering into the chamber, and you could see how hurried he was in his attempts to get into the chamber, even before the 12:30 time would tick. And so the Speaker got here way ahead of the 12:30. Understandably so. I mean, being referred to the Privileges Committee is a big deal when it comes to Parliament. And so the minister needed to have moved swiftly to Parliament. But then, speaking to you now, the minister is answering to some of the questions that members are posing to him regarding the sector. So it's now time for questions on his sector, but they are yet to get to the details of the specific matter.
I see. So what kinds of questions is he answering already?
Well, these are constituency-specific ones, and also coming from MPs regarding, the building of schools and the state of some infrastructure under his sector in the various constituencies. But a specific issue regarding the reopening of schools, to which the Speaker has hauled him before the House, that is yet to be delved into. And at 12:30, that is when it will be. And it's possibly going to be not the entire House and not open to the public. This may be done with the Committee of the Whole.
Komla, we'll leave you to sniff out whatever happens, and then we'll come back to you in the course of this broadcast. But Mawena, there's more to the story.
Exactly, because time is running out for hundreds of freshmen, many of whom should have reported to school today. Rather, they, together with their parents, have besieged the Nat Hall here in Accra in frantic attempts to secure a senior high school spot. Let's go on to Zoom now and begin the checks from Judith Brown, who's now reporting that the placement center at the Nat Hall is choked with parents desperately in need of solutions. Judith, you're there. Talk to us about exactly what is happening and what the concern of parents have been. Right, we'll hear from Judith shortly, but we can hear from some of the parents as well who've been expressing the frustrations she'll be telling us a bit about shortly.
I'm here with my brother to change the school. We chose the residency to be boarding, but we were given day, and looking at the distance, we have to come here.
What's the distance?
We are coming from Tema. But the school is giving at advanced senior high.
Oh.
That's very fast, so we are here to change the school.
How long have you been here, and what have they been telling you?
I think I've been here for about 2 hours. And there's an announcer here trying to explain the requirements. So we are seeing on it.
Does it seem hectic of a process?
Yeah, it is. Looking at the people here, all of us here trying to make things possible for our kids.
I'm here to solve my little brother's school. He had no school, so we are here to solve it.
And how has the process been for you, and how long have you been here?
Actually, we came here, I think, some few hours ago. And actually, the only problem we are facing now is the books are limited. The books where we are supposed to select the cities from are limited. So it's like we are in a queue waiting for books to select schools for him, which is also wasting our time. Actually, we are also workers and we work. So So we have to go and then we have to do this fast and then go and follow our works.
So, two siblings trying to secure spots for their younger ones in the Nat Hall, at the Nat Hall, I should say. Let's go back to Judith Brown now for details. Judith, we've been hearing from two of the people you engage who are detailing the challenges they're having to experience. What more can you tell us from the Solution Center this afternoon?
Right, and so yes, I am at the Nat Hall, and this is supposed to be the placement resolution center for parents who want to have challenges with their placement at here. Now, you can hear the number of people talking. It's a bit chaotic here, and a number of people have been here as early as 4 a.m. in the morning trying to get their problems resolved. Over here, there are about 4 things that they're trying to do here. The first thing would be to resolve issues of no placement, to also resolve issues of change of school, change of your program, as well as change of the status. And when we talk about status, we're talking about either from a boarding house to day or from day to boarding. And so these are the number of challenges that most parents here have come with. A lot of them have been talking about the fact that their students or their wards have not been placed in schools at all. And most of these challenges are for wards who had aggregate 30 or 20 and above, and most of them did not get schools. And that is why they're here to resolve these challenges. As I said, it's quite chaotic, and a huge number of parents are here with their wards trying to get this resolved. But of course, this is what they are saying, that they'll try and make sure that everyone is helped, and so that everyone can have what they want. So a number of people have been...
Right then, Judith. Many thanks for those details. That's Judith Brown from the Nat Hall providing a bit more details. There's some additional breaking news to what we brought you earlier, Kamini.
Indeed, we understand that Aisha Huang has been sentenced to 4 years and 6 months in prison. She's also expected to pay a fine of 48,000 cedis. You recall that she's been standing trial for a while now over mining offenses. There are 4 others who were charged alongside her whose trial is still ongoing. But what we hear now is that Aisha Huang has been sentenced to 4 years, 6 months in prison and fined 48,000 cedis. Let's get more on this breaking news. Our correspondent Joseph Akable is joining us again for more on this subject. Joseph, we're seeing some pictures on our television about how Aisha is being rushed on. Explain to us what we are seeing, honestly.
And so the court a short while ago announced the sentence. Yes, you rightly pointed out, at the time we interacted, the sentence had not been announced. The announcement from the court now is that she served a total of 4 years and 6 months in prison. In terms of the fine that has been imposed, 48,000 is imposed. And you remember during our interaction, I made a point that the judge had expressed some concerns about the fact that she has to apply the old legal regime because at the time she committed the said offenses, that was the law in force. And so even though currently under the amended Mining and Minerals Act, she'll be sentenced to serve a term of looking at as much as between 15 and 25 years, the court unfortunately was able to impose just this number of years because of the current legal regime. The Deputy Attorney General is just outside here. Let's just pick a bit of his perspective on this particular decision that has come out so far.
Beyond Aisha Huang, do you have any other people that you are prosecuting in respect to illegal mining activity?
There are a lot of cases in court, some of them involving other Chinese nationals. There are cases in court involving Ghanaians. Go to all the other courts in Ghana. I think now we have over 130 cases pending. So Aisha Huang's case is not only the case that we are prosecuting, possibly a whole lot of cases. But Aisha Huang, maybe because of how she got into the system, that's why maybe her own is a different matter. But we are committed to ensure that those who have gone contrary to our laws respecting mining will be dealt with in accordance with law.
So, Kemini, that was the Deputy Attorney General there saying that this side, they are satisfied that they were able to prove their case in the court as agreed with them. Back to you, Kemini.
I see. Joseph, just before we let you go, listen, where is Aisha Huang? What do we know about her whereabouts and where she's likely to serve the sentence?
We do not know the specifics of which specific facility she'll be serving the sentence. But what we do know is that she's being processed and the order is being signed by the court to have her moved quickly to the prison facility where she'll be spending the next 4 years and 6 months. She looked quite distraught when the sentence was eventually handed. She was quite calm, even though her lawyers had urged the court to perhaps deport her and just impose a fine. That was not the case. The lawyer had even made the point that Christmas is just a couple of weeks away, and it's only fair that she's allowed to go back to her country, and once she's able to pay the fine, that will be imposed. But the judge disagreed with that, and so that left her a bit distraught. And we understand, as I speak to you now, she's being processed, and the order is being signed to take her to the prison facility where she'll be serving the next 4 years and 6 months.
I see. Joseph, we'll leave it here for now. Thank you so much. Joseph Akable joined us from the court where an Accra High Court has sentenced Aisha Huang to 4 years and 6 months in prison and a fine of 48,000 cedis after she was found guilty of mining offences. That's just breaking news coming in. Obviously, a good sign, Mawena, as far as the fight against Galamsey is concerned.
Exactly, and I mean the concern will be that the sentence might be a bit short. I mean, when you hear on face value 4 years and 6 months, 48,000 cedis fine, that's not really a lot for somebody who, per what it is that transpired all throughout the court, appears to have gained a lot of wealth from mining illegally in the country. But like Joseph said, the judge said she was going to lean more towards the
previous law,
old law, and so that's what she
I mean, again, that's something we'll do on subsequent broadcasts to find out if really that makes sense in the face of the law.
Most certainly. But when we return from this quick break, we'll take you back to the various schools in the country, senior high schools to be specific, where first-year students are expected to be reporting. This is News Central. Stay with us. It's News Central from our news hub here on the John Hammond Street. If you're just tuning in, the breaking news is that Aisha Huang has been found guilty by an Accra High Court, has been sentenced to 4 years, 6 months and fined 48,000 cedis by the court. What we understand as well is that she's currently being taken through the necessary processes to be taken to a prison facility, which we do not know yet. But that's the big news. This top Aisha Huang sentenced to 4.5 years in prison and 48,000 cedis in terms of fines. Well, returning to the conversation on education and the return of first years to schools, and we know that they are expected to report to their various schools today. A visit to some senior high schools within Sekunde Takoradi Metropolis saw a low turnout, while some have reported without the needed documentation. Meanwhile, several parents and their wards were also spotted at the regional offices of the Ghana Education Service to effect some changes in the schools where they've been placed. Let's begin our checks from the Ashanti region, where my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar is on standby for some details. Ibrahim, in which senior high school are you? What can you report?
So now I'm at the Kumasi Technical Institute, and this place also serves as the solution center for students who have not gotten any placement, and also those who are here to change. So currently you can see hundreds of them who are racing against time together with their parents just to be able to get senior high schools and reports. I went to in the morning KSTS and also Sakapia Islamic to get the situation there. In fact, some have started reporting today. Others also come just to check whether their names are in the list and also go back to their various places to go and prepare for it. So currently, you go to the schools, it's moving smoothly, but here at the Solution Center, you could see frustration on the faces of parents who have been here since morning until now. They've not been served, even though authorities have asked them to exercise patience. Each and everyone here will be served at least by the close of the week. But we are told that effective academic work may likely not happen this week, maybe probably next week or even next 2 weeks. So, but generally, parents are also satisfied with this year's the GS directive to uniform the prospectus. They brought a standardized and uniform one. So this has in a bit cut down on their expenditure and ensure that they are able to purchase some of the needed items for their wards.
Right, and so generally, please, parent, in terms of prospectus, have you interacted with any of the students as well, and what they've been telling you?
Well, like I said, for the students, most of them are excited. Those who have gotten admission, they're eager to enter into the senior high school and feel the environment of senior high school. But for those who are yet to secure admission, you can clearly see on their faces here, most of them very, very frustrated, waiting to see that they will get schools of their choice. In fact, not even their choice, at least they will get schools and also be able to go to the various.
Right then, Ibrahim Abubakar there, he spoke to some parents as well. We could just take a brief listen, then we return to Accra to get an update on what the situation is as well.
Oh, as parents, they only say prospectus nearby and a good, less to obey school because on what it's in your manner to be brave, nearby and be so you okay. And who be here so I must say, wow, own register Obano. Ubedin can go school more. If you say me say no, me turn your money by bedroom and say chobos na rejecting. Into my sack bag. Into as parents will be a board and I say, when you register and the uncle who be here so because school more, not the school ni penno. Now watch because Ubeton won't be a bit marriage, especially trying to chobos.
For those years back, the items that we were putting in were too much. But so far, I think we shall manage it. We shall manage it. But the government should do more. These more items, almost 3,000. 3,000. See, provided you want the quality ones.
Some parents there. From Kumasi, let's bring you to Accra, and Accra Girls to be specific, where my colleague George Queenan is stationed. Let's take you live there now as well. George, I see a long queue behind you. Tell us exactly what it is that's happening.
Well, thank you so much. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. We are coming to you live. We are coming to you live from Accra Girls here in Accra, and as you're aware, it's the opening day for Form 1 students of senior high schools across the country, and parents are here in their numbers to ensure they enroll their work into this very institution. You can tell from their face the frustration pursuing this for their awards. But I spoke to the management here. They tell me that, it will take days for them to complete or even to attend to all these numbers. Because at the end of the day, they make provision for 600 students through the PSHS secretariat. And most of the time, the numbers exceed. Even that, they still have to make provisions for these numbers. Who are they? They've been directed to accept these students. So whatever is the limited resources, the fact that, the all students vacated on Thursday, they couldn't even fumigate the place, and they couldn't even put most of the facilities in shape. They still have to attend to these students because these are authorities who've asked them to comply to certain things. So they are doing that. But they are hoping that, reality will draw on authorities to know that it's possible, or it's very, very crucial for us to go to the drawing table, cross the T's, and dot the I's, but do something for adjustment because it's very limited time. Because as he said, I spoke to the assistant headmaster of academics here, Sebastian Said. He said they are yet to classify the teachers because the placement didn't come with, the elective these students will be doing. So if, for instance, they've been brought to Accra Girls, we need to know what elective you're pursuing under general. So if it's French, if it's geography, if it's economics, we need to know all of these. And also the teachers have to be classified to know which courses or classes will be taken. So if all these are not done, it can even be done in more than 2 weeks. And these are the time that the students will be spending in school. They are coming on the 4th and will be vacating on the 21st. Just some few 2 weeks. And they cannot even do the classification within that time. So if they want to rush this, the outcome will be very terrible. So they should be, allowed to relax and make sure all the classification is done and that these all, students are given their respective program. And after that, everything will be on course. But if they want to write the system, the outcome will be very difficult. They need to make sure all these things are put in place before they start with proper teaching and learning. Marina.
Right then, George, many thanks. Let's take a listen to the assistant headmaster as well.
When they report today, the calendar, they're supposed to go home on the 4th of January. On the 21st of December. And then they will return on the 4th of January for us to continue the academic year.
So with these 2 weeks, can you teach them?
Anybody who says he can do anything, it's something that I am yet imagine, because now that we are going to classify the teachers into the various Form 1 classes, and then apart from that, we are to get them into the various programs and also put our facilities in shape for them. So all these things, we couldn't do that within the 1 week or less than 1 week because they left.
The assistant headmaster there, and the reopening is continuing for the first year. To continue to monitor that for you here on News Central. Up next, Regional Hub.
Scores of traders have been displaced after a private developer barricaded a section of the Ketia market. The developer, whose name has only been given, as Aisha said, is allegedly being supported by Juan Albert, a former staff of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. Aisha had earlier told Akoma FM that he secured the land from the Ghana Railway Authority. The Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, however, claims the developer has no license to develop the area. Let's chat with William Evans Inkum on this matter. Evans, good afternoon to you. What is the situation as we speak now? Evans, we cannot hear you. You may have to unmute yourself. Unfortunately, we still can't hear you, but right, go ahead, Evans. What is the situation on the ground with the traders at Ketia?
Well, so coming in a cliffhanger at the moment. The traders are unable to access the place because it has been barricaded, and of course some heavily built men, believed to be land guards, were also patrolling. But the most intriguing aspect of this whole thing has to do with the fact that the police never intervened. It was only after some calls and then a media report that saw policemen also coming around. What is also not known is the whereabouts of a private security person who the traders say was engaged to also ensure, safety of their wares as far as that particular enclave is concerned. They are alleging that that private security man is believed to have been taken hostage. Well, we cannot independently verify that, but they are making wild allegations to that effect. But yet the police has also not spoken as far as this particular development is concerned. Of course, the KMA is also saying that they have not issued any license to this particular private developer. But the private developer, again, is also claiming that he has a lease from the Ghana Railway Authority.
I see.
Who are the right owners of this particular land in contention.
Evans, quickly, we know that city authorities have denied giving permits to develop the area. What do they intend to do about this dispute between the traders and the said private developer?
Well, it's so sad that, their body language hasn't been that of, one would say, encouraging. Only to say that they haven't given any permit to this particular private developer. But what they intend doing is something that, because they haven't kind of effects or showed any interest as far as this particular development is concerned, that it leaves many wondering, is it because of the involvement of a former staff of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly? That is why they are not showing much of an interest as far as this particular development is concerned? Or it is because the land in contention solely belongs to the Ghana Railway Authority? That is why they also not showing much interest. But then people are also asking that, well, in any case, you are in charge of the central business district. If there's a confusion or some level of confusion, you need to intervene. But as I'm talking to you now, there hasn't been any intervention.
Indeed, Evans, we'll leave it here for now. Thank you so much. Evans Inkum joined us from the Ashanti region, specifically from around the Ketia market, where sections have been barricaded off, possibly because a developer wants to make use of the area. That's it for the Hub.
Welcome back to News Central. If you're just tuning in, just a quick reminder again of what the top story for this hour is, and that is that Aisha Huang has been found guilty An Accra High Court. She's been sentenced to 4.5 years in prison with a fine of some 48,000 cedis. That's the latest from the court. We've been getting details as to exactly what it is that transpired. Also been hearing from the Deputy Attorney General, who says that Aisha Huang is not the only person being prosecuted in the court, but that's the big news. She's been sentenced to 4.5 years in prison and a fine of some 48,000 cedis. Away from Aisha Huang, the Office of the Special Prosecutor is on a manhunt for 6 individuals who allegedly engaged in corruption-related offences during the New Patriotic Party's parliamentary elections. According to the official handle of the OSP on X, formerly Twitter, the individuals were captured in viral videos displaying and distributing money during the NPP parliamentary elections. Actions, the OSP says, amounts to vote buying, which were against the laws of public elections. But meanwhile, the concerns are rife as the special prosecutor has declared the 6 persons wanted. As we've been telling you about, some Ghanaians have been sharing their thoughts on the subject amidst the fears the fight against corruption is far from over. My colleague Christian Yale joins me from the Osu Oxford Street for an update. Christian, talk to us. You've been interacting with some members of the public. Exactly what have they been telling you?
So I am coming to you live from the Osu Oxford Street, where concerns arrive over the actions taken by the special prosecutor over corruption and corruption-related activities in the just-ended NPP primaries in their orphan constituencies. But another conversation that is being had at this moment is about Ghana's ability to end corruption. We can take a listen to what some Ghanaians have been saying with their views as to whether we are able to deal with this menace or not. But many of them believe that we have a long way to go as a country in fighting this raging menace.
By letting the youth know that if you have your money, you can pay your way out. You can be a president by buying people's vote. And this doesn't augur well at all for democracy in Ghana. If the leaders are listening, they should be very, very careful, because the youth are going to do the same. Do we have future as a nation?
It's even more criminal than everything. Look, that's the reason why I say, look, democracy is not good for us. If you are dashing money out and you are telling me it's for TNT, then we continue to pack money under our bed. This is more criminal. This is the reason why I say, let's all support OSP to do his job. If the party is giving the money, no problem, but not the individual, I'm highly disappointed. Highly disappointed.
The vote buying there, man, I'm not sure we can fight it, because the politicians, a lot of them are, more supporters all over Ghana. So we will be free enough about lot of fair, the Kakra, fire a lot of fair, it's in vote buying idea, because the fact I feel about I say, Vice President Mamiska, that means so I have to vote for him.
By taking money to vote, that means the person has infringed your rights. But we, the citizens, should always be one step ahead. We should always be maybe analytical and then be more about ourselves, not rather than taking and then use your little idea, maybe the little that you get, to vote for somebody. But think of what you want to get after what voting for.
So some of the individuals you spoke to from the Oxford Street, Christian Yale, I should say, joined us from the Oxford Street. But the conversation featured on the big issues on TV3 New Day, where Tamale Central MP Mutala Mohammed urged the Office of the Special Prosecutor not to relent in probing the development.
Members of Parliament are nothing but representatives of their constituents. They serve as liaison, if you like, officers between the executive arm and the people they represent. Unfortunately, it's been hugely monetized, and what we saw the weekend was disgusting. So I'm saying that it is just vulgar, it is unacceptable. Now, anybody can come and win elections if he or she has money. And we have seen that in the MPP, where drug convicts subsequently came and won elections.
You're talking about Erica Martin?
Of course, who was convicted for dealing in drugs. Came, contested an elections, and won the elections. Tomorrow, you don't know who will come and contest elections and win because the person has money. So I think that we all need to sensitize the public. We all need to be taking a position that resonates with the letter and spirit of parliamentary representation. And one of the means by which we can do so is when political parties own up to condemn such acts by their own members. I think that the Office of the Special Prosecutor should be interested in finding out how they got the money, how did they come by the money, who gave the money, how much taxes were paid on that money, because this is outrageous.
Kofi, did you see some of the monies
I've
and
seen,
the videos?
I've seen
I think
the
the good
video.
thing is that the media.
On the same program, for member of the NPP communication team, Kofi Tonto, the party must investigate the development and hand out sanctions.
Monetization of our politics cuts across the political divide, and it is something that we must condemn. And that is why I am saying that what I have seen, I was extremely appalled. You know, I don't think we should get to that level and get to the level of inducement where people are right at the polling station putting monies in your pocket. What did you go there to do? Did you go there for an investment, or did you go there to elect the right candidate who's going to help move this nation forward? So certainly, I don't think it's the right thing. I call for the party to investigate and any other authorized entity in the state to investigate. But these things, they start small.
Well, that'll be all for this hour of News Central. I'm Kemini Amano.
I am Mawina Egbert. As always, a lot more news if you log on to 3news.com. Enjoy the afternoon.
Bye-bye.